Nike has long been a behemoth of the sportswear industry, with the iconic swoosh becoming a symbol of athletic excellence. But in the shadows, Adidas has slowly been building up its repertoire and gearing up to potentially dethrone its American rival. So, without further ado, let's dive into the battle for supremacy between these two sportswear giants, and why Adidas might be the last one standing when the dust settles. First up, some history. These two brands have absolutely dominated the market over the past decade, but it's easy to forget just how late Adidas was to the party. Don't get me wrong, this German brand was doing pretty well for itself, but while Nike was busy crafting the one and only Air Jordan silhouette, Adidas just didn't have anything that compared. In 2012, the Air Jordan sales shot up by a staggering 89%, indicating its enduring popularity among sneaker fans nearly 3 decades after its debut. Nike's dominance seemed insurmountable, so much so that the brand was considered synonymous with sneakers. When the company introduced Flyknit, it seemed downright unstoppable. However, Adidas was busy planning its own revival, and in 2013, it brought Boost technology to the world. It's safe to say this introduction was an absolute game changer. Leveraging cutting-edge chemistry from BASF, Adidas was able to create a line of sneakers that could vastly minimize the impact on an athlete's joints. This bouncy material consisted of polymer pellets compressed into a single piece, and it marked perhaps the first time that Adidas seemed like a true contender for the throne. By 2015, the Adidas Ultra Boost showed the brand at the peak of its craft. This became the most popular sneaker line to incorporate Boost technology, helped in no small part by an endorsement from Kanye West himself. When Ye wore a pair of Ultra Boosts to the 2015 Billboard Music Awards, the brand reached even greater heights. His historic performance at the awards show might be notorious for the heavy censoring it experienced, but it's safe to say that his shoes received their fair share of the limelight. While surprising it is that these aren't exactly the most premium pairs available, people could buy them for a reasonable $180. Far from the hundreds you'd expect to pay for shoes endorsed by one of the world's biggest musicians. That seemed to be the trend with Adidas. The brand has made a name for itself by providing top-tier quality at an affordable price point, and it turns out that Kanye wanted this too. While his first Adidas collection would have set you back $3,800, he pledged to bring prices down for subsequent collections. Sure enough, the second iteration slashed the asking price considerably, although it was still up there at $1,200. Regardless, Kanye wanted his shoes to be accessible to regular folk, and he said as much when people asked him about them. This is a philosophy that Adidas has stuck with ever since. Nike executives side-eyed the German brand nervously as it picked up steam. In 2017, the unthinkable happened. Revenue reports and sales figures came in, all of which pointed to one irrefutable fact. Adidas had the top-selling sneaker of the year with the Retro Superstar. For decades, Nike had positioned itself as the undisputed king of the sneaker world, but all of a sudden, their longtime competitor somehow ate away at their market share. The Adidas Superstar didn't just outsell the Air Jordan 12s on a per-unit basis. That would have been relatively easy, given that the Adidas pair cost around $80, where the Nikes sold for a hefty $170. Instead, the Adidas Superstar somehow out-earned the Air Jordan 12s as well. That's doubly impressive when you consider the lower price point. If you think about it, Adidas would have had to sell an insane amount of pairs to cinch the top spot, and the fact that they succeeded is a testament to their tremendous growth. It's clear that the low price point, high quality strategy was working out brilliantly. Ho ho ho, hold your horses. We plug a lot of people, but this is something that even we can't do. Hit that subscribe button and plug yourself with the most diverse and interesting sneaker content there is. And now, back to the video. Adidas also happened to nearly double its market share in this period. In 2016, they controlled around 6.3% of the US sneaker market. Fast forward a year, and they brought this up to 11.3%. Such a massive jump in just 12 months is no mean feat, and the only way they accomplished this was by beating Nike at its own game. The American brand saw its own market share dip from 35.9% to 34.7%, while the separate Jordan brand fell to 11.8% from 14.8%. Look, the numbers don't lie. Adidas was clearly doing something right, and it allowed them to surge past Nike for the very first time. The Yeezy collab with Kanye helped them in no small part, providing a high-value collectible that left sneaker fans around the world desperate for a pair. And then, the controversial rapper went on an anti-Semitic tirade that backed Adidas into a corner. Either the brand could double down to preserve their most valuable silhouette, or they could cut ties with Kanye and start from scratch. I'd say the company did the right thing by severing the relationship. After all, the blowback from partnering with the self-immolating artist threatened to derail everything they'd worked so hard to gain. The only problem was Adidas needed something new to fill the void. They found their replacement in the new Fear of God Athletics lineup. Now, this collab with Jerry Lorenzo didn't just come out of the blue. Adidas had been working on it for the better part of 3 years, and it's a good thing they had it on the back burner this whole time. The Yeezy debacle left the company with a $540 million loss. So if they didn't have something to fall back on, Nike would have automatically won the race by default. Fortunately, Fear of God is shaping up to be everything you'd expect from Adidas. The Three Stripes has only had 2 previous permanent partnerships with fashion brands, namely Y3 and Stella McCartney. So if they decided to sign on the dotted line with Fear of God, there was obviously something special there. Jerry Lorenzo is a streetwear icon in his own right and has worked with Nike in the past, but his brand hadn't made its way into athletic apparel yet. With Adidas, he found a partner willing to give him a global push and the sort of name recognition that could put your products on the map. It's a symbiotic relationship by all accounts, and it might help cover up the bitter aftertaste left behind by Kanye. Then again, Adidas has plenty more going for it, even if we ignore the burning need to replace the Yeezy-shaped hole in their bottom line. The brand has released multiple pairs that are flying off the shelves. The 3 shoes that come to mind are the Campus 2000, Gazelle, and its oldest design, the Samba. Introduced in 1949, Samba's suction grip was a game-changing innovation that helped athletes play on slippier, icy surface without missing a step. By 2015, Adidas had sold around 35 million pairs of these, and by the end of 2023, the company was having a hard time keeping up with demand. The Wales Bonner Sambas set for release in 2024 indicate the brand's willingness to spice up their tried and tested design, featuring a tan heel and toe peppered with vivid blue highlights. This is just the latest addition to the Wales Bonner line, following up the November 2023 release of 4 distinctive colorways, making their oldest design arguably one of their most innovative as well. The same can be said of the Adidas Campus, which boasts a sturdier, thicker build than some of the company's other offerings. In 2023, the company collabed with the likes of Bad Bunny and Korn to produce the Campus 80s and the Campus 2000s, respectively. The first of these 2 features a cloud-like design, replete with furry, fluffy highlights that seem rooted in the 1980s aesthetics. With the retro vibe going so strong, it made perfect sense for Adidas to release this blast from the past, and pairing it with the hottest name in music made for an inspired juxtaposition. As for the Campus Naughties, the company opted for a solid black and stark white laces and highlights, making the design come alive. These revamped pairs are keeping the company in the limelight in unexpected ways, combining nostalgic form and unparalleled function to create just one of many bona fide collector's items in their catalog. Finally, there's the Adidas Gazelle, which has been endorsed by a laundry list of celebrities over its lifetime. Everyone from Mick Jagger and Harry Styles has shown off the Gazelles, and if that wasn't enough, Gwyneth Paltrow sported a pair at a red carpet event of all places. Recently, Adidas partnered with Gucci to give these underrated sneakers a bigger push. Over in Nike's corner, things aren't going so well. For one thing, Air Jordans aren't selling as much as they used to. There was a time when each new take on the silhouette brought swarms of eager buyers, all of whom lined up for hours to be the first to get their hands on the pair. Nowadays, if you want to buy a pair of the new Air Jordans, all you need to do is walk into a store. There's something to be said of the resale value since this tends to heavily influence buyers. Data analytics firm Altan Insights showed that a number of prized Nike sneakers aren't seeing the same price climb year to year. The Retro Jordan 1s, arguably the quintessential Nike collectible, yielded just 4% premium on the initial price in 2023. Just 3 years ago, resellers could have fetched an easy 61% profit margin. When the collectible is no longer being collected, what motivation do buyers have to get in on the latest pair? Not much, as it turns out, and the numbers show it. Many would ask how it came to this, and the blame lies largely with Nike itself. The company's long been accused of saturating the market, coming out with so many new designs it's hard to keep up. One can argue that each design satisfies a particular niche, but that's beside the point. Nike no longer has the mass appeal it once relied on. There are signs the company is resting on its laurels, unwilling to take big swings or to come up with anything inspired. There's only so far they can go with the status quo, and buyers are starting to look elsewhere. While its empire crumbles, Adidas is rapidly gaining market share and providing an alternative for collectors looking for the next big buy. As it currently stands, the German brand might not compete in terms of pure numbers, but when you look at it from a cultural impact point of view, the coming decades will all be about Adidas, with Nike set to become little more than a legacy brand. That's about it, people. I want to thank you again for watching. Do not forget to kick that like button. And if you're a true sneakerhead, you'll be kicking that subscribe button too. See you back next time.